Hi, everybody. Thank you for your patience with me in getting this video up a little late. I was really glad to see that you guys really filled out that working document on the publications for the divisions, and I hope that your time with Professor Morris was insightful. I want to clarify something. She might have brought this up. I think she and I had emailed about it, but I hadn't changed it yet on the assignments, and I'll go over this again on Tuesday, and I'll try and change it. But I was unsure a little bit because this is the first time I've taught this particular class as to whether or not this first assignment should just be for the Humanities and Fine Arts Division or more broadly. And Professor Morris and I talked, and you can write about, anything you want as it relates to the College and Letters of Sciences and any of the departments and divisions. But the thing to note is that you have the highest likelihood of being published on the HFA website and social media. So that's a reality, but it's not, it's not necessarily the only reality. And we are going to have Nora Drake, who is the communications director for the College of Letters and Sciences, come in next Thursday. And so she can also maybe help facilitate some different placement. So, I just want to point that out, that you are not limited to the HFA, that you can write beyond and find a story beyond that within the College of Letters and Sciences, but that Professor Morris really has the editorial control and the sort of best relationship ongoing with the HFA. Okay. Okay, so that being said, I wanted to just briefly go over what is due for Tuesday. I've rearranged a couple things just for clarity for you, and so I think it should be all together now. So let me go ahead and make this guy small and not that guy. Oh, I wanted to show you guys this. So at the workshop that I'm at here, I am working with Jody Rave Spotted Bear, who is the founder director of Buffalo's Fire, which is independent news from the Indigenous Media Freedom Alliance, which is her nonprofit organization located on the Fort Berthold Reservation in North Dakota. So Jody is an Indigenous Native American news writer, journalist, and she was actually, I've put this link on our website, but she was actually the first Native American journalist to be hired and work for the New York Times and to cover that beat about 15 years ago. And she has a really extensive, a very extensive work as a journalist, covering tribal issues that are engaged with Native American different issues. I'm not saying that very well. Sorry, it's been a long week. A lot of information. My words are gone today. But she's amazing, and I've been learning so much from her, and I'm hoping that maybe she will come and speak to the class, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, though, you might want to take a look at Jody's bio and also at Buffalo's Fire, and just kind of read about some different topics, different news that's going on, and note maybe how those articles are being written, because Jody is very much sort of a journalist's journalist, and so she's very much about the facts and reporting, right? Truth and reporting. So from your class journalism document, which was really interesting, I was super excited to read everything that you wrote, and we will go over that and kind of condense and combine it on Tuesday and maybe ongoing on Thursday as well in class. If you have not yet filled that out, please do so. Also, I didn't tell you to do this, but I do want to know who wrote what. Okay, so please go back to the document and put who you are, put what you wrote, what your name was, okay? Because otherwise I won't know. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, like, I'm not sure if I missed something here, but I'm just not being able to see like who wrote what. But I'm really interested in what you have here. Okay, so go back, please, and fill that out. So on our course website, we are looking now at some additional readings for you and some exercises. So your reading, you have News Writing Basics, and the writing, this book is called Writing for Strategic Communication Industries. I like this online textbook because the scope of work is beyond just a journalistic or a, say, public relations perspective. It really brings sort of those two together in a way. Not all of the chapters are relevant, but I think that these news writing basics and a couple of the other chapters are definitely going to give you the foundation that we're looking for here, okay? So it's also because you are writing for a client in this class, right? You are a strategic communication writer, right? Strategic communication writers produce material that they hope will find its way into the news stream. They provide information that helps their clients explain their clients' facts, framing of a controversy, or opinions, right? So you are writing journalism, but you are also working for a client. So, this is, it's a bit of a, it's a developing space. And so, this is a really good chapter to read through and watch the videos and really think about sort of like what you're doing, who you're writing for, and why you're writing it, right? Note that, again, you have a responsibility of influencing the opinions and attitudes of large numbers of people with what you write and how you write it, okay? So it's very important that you have an understanding of techniques and style of news writing, okay? Because you are doing news writing. Okay, now where am I? Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so one of the things I want to show you, and I was going to talk about blog writing, but I think what I'm going to talk about is the inverted pyramid style, which really essentially is how I want you to approach writing your blog, okay? So when we look at blog writing, which again is a personal essay, and you can think about this inverted pyramid style, which is a traditional news format, you can extrapolate that also into the Q&A format to a certain extent, as well as to your social media post, okay, whatever you choose to do in the assignment. Because basically what the inverted pyramid style is the way in which information is presented in a piece of content in descending order of importance, okay? So, you're going to read this article here, which is blah, 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 how to write openings that hook the reader, okay? And you're going to potentially, if you're writing a personal essay, you might have more of a delayed lead, right? Your lead may not be in your first sentence because you are writing about a more personal story, right? But you're definitely going to want it, up at the top, and you're going to be writing short paragraphs. And so you really need to get the reader engaged very quickly. Okay. And the inverted pyramid style does that, right? It allows the audience to read the most crucial details quickly so they can decide whether to continue or stop reading the story. Okay. So when we look at this, right, what do we see here in the inverted pyramid style? The way that we see it is we start with the lead, which is the most important info. And the lead, let's see if I can, there we go. And the lead is who, what, where, when, why, and how, the 5 W's and H, right? It can be approximately 30 words. This, 1 to 2 thin paragraphs, it's, you're really looking at just a couple of lines, right? And you might want to include a hook, which is a provocative quote or question. When you look at this article, you're going to see he's specifically talking about long form and feature writing, okay? And so when you have a hard news story, right, which would be something on the, let's look here actually on Buffalo's fire. When you have a hard news story, like this one here, okay, we've got news, right? Based on facts either observed and verified by the reporter or reported and verified from knowable sources. Okay, title. As the search for unmarked, or headline I should say, for unmarked graves continues, Mohawk residential school survivors demand church records, okay? We then scroll down and we read about 30 Mohawk residential school survivors and their families marched across the Cornwall Bridge to Canada on Saturday. They were calling for the Anglican Church in Canada to open access to all documents related to the Mohawk Institute. The Mohawk Institute was a residential school where Indigenous children were forcibly taken from 1830 to 1970. At least 97 Mohawk children died there, according to newly released records. It's still unknown where the children were buried. Okay, many of the marchers on Saturday were wearing orange t-shirts that said "Every Child Matters" in English and Mohawk. So what we have here is, and by the way, this is just devastating information, but it's a very challenging story. But what we have here is a hard news story because even though it is a very challenging, devastating story, it is remarked upon and written in sort of an observational perspective. You are giving the facts, right? Or the writer is giving the facts here. They're getting the who, what, when, where, why, how right up here in the front, okay? Whereas when we look at this article, How to Write Openings That Hook the Reader, right? He's talking more about long form or feature stories, we can more go in the soft news aspect. And there's different techniques that you can use, right? And so you might want to not just put all the 5 W's and an H in the first paragraph. You might want to start it out more as a story with a hook, right? And so he gives you some examples here, right? And here we go. Noel Quillane, 50, is Birmingham born and bred. Before I was on the big issue, I was on the canals and a soldier in the army. For Noel and hundreds like him across the country, the big issue is a lifeline. Okay, I'm not really sure what this is, so this is probably a bad example in a way. But what I want to point out is that the lead doesn't start out with just the facts, right? here. Like here you look and it's just the facts. Here's what happened, right? Here's what you need to know. Here's the why and the how, right? But here in this, it's more of a hook as you are introducing a person, a